basically you not having a nationality or a nation that you can say that say, hey, this is one of ours right here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
I mean, but I think that the driver's license to me is like a lot of people say, look, you got a driver's license that basically gives the state jurisdiction over you and blah 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 blah. But I come to the realization that it once you understand who you are, yeah, you a fool if you act other than yourself.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just all about you knowing who you are and you knowing how to operate and me understanding that the driver's license is not a document that's making me bound or liable. It's a document that I can use and I can also use it for identification purposes. So I can say that it has an image and it has a signature on it showing the person that's utilizing that name and number. That's all it is.
Okay, so you had made a statement about the driver's license giving the state authority over you. So I got a question. So what do you think about? Why do you think states frown down upon the issuance of travel cards?
Why do I think they frown down on travel cards?
Yeah.
Versus driver's license?
Mhm.
That's a good question. I mean, because I feel like I think to me, the more that I come to understand it, the state is supposed to be for the benefit of the people, for the protection.
Right. Exactly.
Of the people, and I think people got the state misconstrued as far as their concepts as how they look at the state and its protections over its citizens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a misconception about law and protection and us not understanding nationality and understanding why we was treated the way we've been treated with the United States. So it's just like those concepts kind of like throw people out. But in my understanding now, I think that the state frowns on other cards because it shows like allegiance against it.
Well, you really touched on it when you start talking about protection. See, the states they put certain safeguards in place for the protection of the people operating a motor vehicle on a public way. So before they issue you a driver's license, they gonna make sure you take a driver's test. They gonna make sure you know they gonna make sure you know your signals, you know the street signs. So when you own a motor vehicle, you won't make a mistake and go up a one way. You know what I'm saying? Going the wrong direction and cause an accident. So
because they in commerce.
They make sure your vision. They make you take a vision test to make sure that your eyes is legally qualified to operate a motor vehicle without glasses. And if you don't pass the vision test, then they can put a restriction on your driver's license indicating that you ought to have eyeglasses when you operate a motor vehicle. You see what I'm saying? They also keep records of your driving history. So they're gonna keep a record of if you got a DWI, if your driver's license is suspended, if it's revoked, if your driver's license is valid or invalid. So these are things that the state put in place to determine if a person is responsible enough to operate a motor vehicle before they issue them a license. Because they know that a motor vehicle can turn into a deadly weapon if used improperly. Now, the reason why they frown down upon travel cards is because the people who issue travel cards are not placing those safeguards in place for the public. They don't know if a person got a history of DWIs or vehicular manslaughter. They don't know if a person got a suspended driver's license. They just issuing them a card. So they're not taking on no type of liability in ensuring the protection of the people operating the motor vehicle on the public way. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they frown down upon travel cards.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. And so as far as the allegiance thing, see, a lot of people, they say, okay, well, they taking away your public right. They taking away your right, and they, it's exchanging it for a privilege. Nah, see, the state, they got the power to license, and the only thing they doing is just selling you a license, and that license is to operate a motor vehicle, because guess what? The most fundamental aspect of interstate commerce is transportation. You can't have interstate commerce or intrastate commerce, which means that you're doing business within your state, without transportation. And they know that people are operating motor vehicles to and from work, although they may not be classified as a commercial driver having a CDL license, but they know that even as a non-commercial driver, which is a Class D license, that you are using that vehicle to indulge in some type of commerce, because they know you got to pay your bills. So you got to generate some type of income to be able to do that, and it's all done through commerce. So the state issues you a license, because they know that you're doing business, even if you're doing business as a sole proprietor. They'll issue you a license to operate a motor vehicle to do that business as a sole proprietor for a specific duration of time. And then once your license expires, you got to renew it just like any other license. They are not taking away your right to travel in exchange for a privilege, because guess what? Even when you got that license issued to you, you still got the right to catch a plane, to catch a boat ride, to ride a bus or a train. So no one's stopping you from traveling. People just got to understand the fundamental aspect, and when you dealing with certain things.
Correct.
No,
Yeah,
sir.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I get you, brother. I get it in the sense that people don't understand the protections of the state, and why you gotta have a state. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't. If you don't have a state, then you just basically lawless. You just out here. You doing what any and whatever without So you bound to be governed. So I understand it. It's like we supposed to be a people that have order, a people that govern ourselves, our own affairs. Seeing over our own political, agricultural, business, commerce, everything for ourselves. And I understand that concept in its totality. Outside of the individualistic groups, conscious groups that we have, whether they Moorish or Islamic or whatever they calling themselves. Even the so-called Christian brothers and sisters.
It's all about who you got allegiance to.
Right, exactly.
See, because guess what? What's a national?
Somebody who has allegiance to his state.
That's right. So if you got allegiance to your state, and your state is issuing a driver's license, but you carrying a travel card, you're not showing that you got any type of allegiance, or because guess what? Each state, they got laws in place for non-residents. Well, you saying you're not a citizen of the United States, which means that you're a non-resident alien. So guess what? They got laws in place for non-residents who are operating a motor vehicle in that state, which basically, if you got a driver's license in your immediate possession issued to you by your home state or country, that you are exempt from the driving laws of that state. You exempt from being required to register your vehicle in that state. You see what I'm saying? And they got exceptions dealing with non-residents as well and foreigners. So people just got to get the right understanding. Yeah, they care about who you got allegiance to.